Hello viewers, Lorenzo here. Welcome back to KSP Contracting. Today we have episode 5 and I'm happy to say I've got a boatload of submissions from you guys. So thanks very much for those craft. I will show you them in a bit and we'll choose one for today's shenanigans. First though, obviously we are going to do the mandatory time forwarding by about 30 days. So that would be day 120 as our target. So let's go there. 110 and 119, 120. Look, zooming out, we have our asteroid. What? This asteroid is in our sphere of influence already. This is not the one we were tracking, was it? No, this one is coming close to us. What? We found an asteroid in our sphere of influence. Well, it's not the most random way to find one, but that will obviously be the one that we shall track and try and do something about. So our mission today has been dictated by celestial mechanics to be a mission to an asteroid. And it shall be determined. Where is it? It is over here. It's quite close, really. So let's track that. I'm confused. This one already was tracked, but somehow I missed it getting really close. Anyway, well, that's just lazy astronomers for you. That will mean that we get to track another random one. I think this is a good way to select a random one. Just zooming out and then clicking the bundle of asteroids. This one doesn't even have a trajectory, so that's a good one to track. Let's track it. And we get a trajectory and that will have an encounter with us as well. So, but not until a while. So let's see, that's 230 days into the future. Today though, we have a mission to an asteroid that's slightly nearer. This is not going on a, let's see, here we have it. Orbiting Caribbean asteroid DMA 184. What can you tell us about this? Class C, so it's medium in size. And it is not posing a threat to the planet, but it is heading away already at 700 meters per second. It might be a challenge to meet up with this thing, because it's basically past us already. But we're going to try to do that anyway by just pointing at it and going really fast. Will that work? We shall see. I'm having trouble envisioning how to rendezvous with this thing. I think we get in orbit and then just point at it and shoot as hard as we can. Although, yeah, 62,000 kilometers. If we do that at about 10 kilometers per second, that's maybe ambitious, 5 kilometers per second, that would give us a transfer time of about 3 hours, in which it would move. That would be hard to hit. No, we're not going to this asteroid. This has passed us by and we are all shaken and scared, and the next asteroid is getting here just in time for our next launch window, and then we can try and go to that one. So tomorrow, or whenever the next episode is going to hit, that will be our asteroid mission. Today we shall have a look at the craft that are available and decide a mission based on that. So let's take a look at our garage, otherwise known as the vehicle assembly building. And we have the EFS Peregrine. What is this like? Let's have a look. It has boosters, that's always good. It has more boosters and engines and big landers. It's got science and parachutes. This could probably go to the moon or Minmus, whichever way we would like to go. Looks like a decent ship. EFS Peregrine. I don't know out of my head who submitted this. Anyway, I think it was Adam. Anyway, I'll have a look at my inbox and give proper credit. Anyway, thank you so much for submitting. Yeah, it was Adam Chisliki. I'm probably horribly butchering that name. It's a nice one though. Thanks for submitting. And let's have a look at what the other guys sent in. We have the Grise Wolf Zero, and I do like how all you guys put some little flavor text and things with your rockets, and that makes the Grise Wolf Corporation turn out as some evil entity I think I saw this already. Yeah, this was already submitted for the last episode, or I've just looked at it. Anyway, this has boosters, engines, wings, a probe core, more boosters, and landing legs. This should be able to get up to a decent speed and then whack into an asteroid, which is exactly what it says in the title. It's an asteroid whacker. So we could try and deflect something by pure kinetic impact through this. That would be a nice experiment, actually. To not slow dock and push, but to just whack it out of the way. What else do we have? We have the Moon Trident 1, submitted by James Terasi. Thank you so much, James. And this, wow, this is one crazy motherfucker. Lots of wings, lots of boosters. Happy to have this in the garage. And we have the Rainbow Express. That was invalid, but Yassine graciously submitted a Mark II that is perfectly valid. So let's have a look at that. This has interesting launch instructions. I should pick out a sunset, cue some epic music, and then hit a variety of buttons. So that should probably look good. Wow, this is amazing. I'm voting that Yassine's craft hands down wins the holy shit, what the hell is this going to do award. And that means that we're going to launch this one. And let's see if there's some piloting instructions or possibly a personal letter to one of these 10 astronauts. They're all still happily alive, so that's wonderful. Okay. No, there's no specific astronaut that has to go in this, so we're gonna go with Sean Munn. Sean Munn Kerman gets to pilot the Rainbow Express Mark II, and we will wheel it out to the launch pad. And I will leave it up to you to cue your powerful music. I'll give you a few seconds to get that ready. Or you could pause the video if you need more time, but this loading screen will suffice. And then we should put a sunrise, sunset, or night time. So let's fast forward until that happens. And this is so mysterious that I'm just going to, yeah, nighttime it is. Here we go. Cue your powerful music now. Wait, not yet. First, maximum thrust. It says cue the music, press button 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and start sequencing. Successful launch is on the bottom. I'm gonna go, I've not looked at what these action groups do, so cue your music now. I'm gonna press 1. I'm gonna press 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Here we go. What? How do you do that? That is awesome. I hope your powerful music is still running, because this, I'm going to press these buttons more. I'm not sure if that still works. This is amazing. Alright. Are you dizzy yet? This is a disco rocket if ever I saw one. And we shall decide, based on its launch performance and characteristics, where it is going to go. That's amazing. Right, okay, stage, separating that. 3 powerful engines blasting the rainbow stage away. How does that happen? I've never seen those colors before. There's no mods installed. That's awesome. Can we do some goo canisters here? No, we want to save our goo canisters for, I'm thinking Minmus, but we'll see how this gets on its way. What do we have even? We have 2 fuel tanks, then we have a stage that has 1. This is a bonkers rocket. I'm liking it. Now this is just an engine here. Fuel. And, well, it's going to be a big surprise what we get. Anyway, we're up to 10 kilometers, so it is pitch over time. The Rainbow Express is performing well. The magic action group buttons that do the rainbow no longer work. So maybe that was all in the first stage. We'll chalk it up to black magic. That was a magical launch. Awesome. And now I'm divided on the fact of whether or not I will add some powerful music to the video. No, I'm going to leave that up to you. Hope you picked your favorite piece of powerful music and enjoyed the Rainbow Express launch. While with Thunder into orbit, I'm tempted to skip this part, but I'm not going to because I have no idea what the rocket will do, and in case of any weird surprises I want to share them with you. But I'll instead just tell you some stories. Today I was thinking about why I lie to my customers so much, and before you start getting an idea of a terribly sleazy salesman, if you didn't know, by the way, I sell excursions to tourists that go. I meet them in the hotels, tell them all about Malta, and then I convince them to buy my trips, which are nice, and I don't lie about the trips because that will just come back to bite me in the ass. No, what I mean with lying to my customers is that in the course of getting to know them, being their friends, and then selling them my product, which happens in about 20 to 30 minutes, they invariably ask me all kinds of personal questions about why do I work here on Malta, how did I come here, how long will I be here, and what am I going to do afterwards. And, well, depending on whether or not I actually like the customers back, I mean, they will think I do always, but depending on whether or not I actually like them, I might want to tell them these things or not. Mostly I lean to, no way. It's none of their business where I'm going and whether I'm going for love or work or a passion or because I like cheese. It's none of their business, so I lie. But I was thinking, why do I tell them the things that I tell them? Sometimes I tell them I own a company and I'm going to be a manager somewhere else, or sometimes I tell them I'm just going to go to a different island. Sometimes I tell them the truth that I'm going to Holland. But usually I'll fudge some details. I'll say I've been here for 2 years instead of 1 year. Or I'll say I'll go to a different island. Or I'll say, like today, I said that I was going home in 2 weeks. No, I was going home in a week. That was the truth. But then I did the most specific little lie that no one is ever going to notice, or it doesn't even matter. I told them that after I'd left, I would have been on the island for a year minus 2 days. And in reality, that's 4 days. And I know it's 4 days. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter for their perception of me. It doesn't matter for my perception of them. There is no possible scenario I could imagine that that little lie makes a difference, but still it feels like it makes me feel like I still have my privacy. Anyway, there's no real point to the story, it's just something I was thinking about today. And with that done, we are almost in orbit, I think. Pretty decent ascent. Periapsis of 128 kilometers. Let's go back to the space scene and fast forward to that so that we may round that off. Now I could have, of course, inserted into a nice minimus. I could have inserted into the plane of Minmus, but I did not, which will make the encounter maneuver ever so slightly more difficult, but only by a very, very slight margin. Go on, make that orbit. Here we go. A periapsis of 75 kilometers, and in the stock Kerbin, that counts as an orbit. Wonderful. Let's is this? Here's Minmus. Let's set that as a target, and try our. Oh, look at that! We are at our ascending node. We can just make the plane change maneuver here. You don't actually need to do the plane change maneuver. The planes are close enough that you will get an encounter anyway. But if you do them, it makes it all that much neater. And by the way, I haven't said it out loud, but we're going to Minmus. And that's the destination where the Rainbow Express will get its science from today. First up, though, is the plane change maneuver. Wow, this is a nimble ship, even though it's really large. And soon after that maneuver, we are hopefully going back into the daylight. That night launch with disco lighting was amazing for the visuals, but it's not so good for videography. So after this burn, I'm going to cut the video after all, and reconvene with you when we are back in the sunlight, and hopefully around Minmus, obviously. So that's the plane change maneuver done. I will set up an encounter with Minmus, And well, I trust you trust in me that I am able to do that, and I will reconvene with you in orbit around Minmus. See you there. So there we are after a brief interlude with a shot of a stage separation against the sunset. Here we are in space high over Minmus. So let's do the mandatory sciences. Mystery goo observation. Keep that for recovery. I'm going to save the materials bay, which I think is hidden here. I'm going to save that for the surface of Minmus. And of course I can do the mandatory crew report, which can be transmitted for 20 science. And then we can do the EVA report by Seanmon, his expert evaluation of the situation. So let's go and have a look at that. Seanmon, EVA, 32 points. Get back in the capsule and feel free to transmit that. I'm transmitting the science because I'm not completely convinced that we will make it back with this craft. We have a low amount of fuel remaining. I have no idea if it was even designed for a Minmus mission, but the gravity is very low there. The delta V requirements in the stock game are also low, so that leads me to believe that I might be overestimating my need for fuel. So we might easily make it. Or we might not, and then we'll have our first stranded Kerbonaut. So let's do our capture burn. And that's about here. It's only 220 meters per second. Shouldn't be too much of a problem. So here we go, lighting the engine. And I'm going to observe the map view here to stop that at a palatable periapsis. There we go. Ooh, that's going fast. Periapsis of about 10 kilometers, I think, should be reasonable. And ooh, that's 4. That's not quite 10. I'm going to turn around and boost a little higher because I'm not convinced that 3 is above all mountains. And then at that altitude I'm going to see whether I want to slow down for a landing or just lower my orbit so it's circular at that altitude, where I can then be a little bit more selective in my landing spot. So let's time warp to the periapsis, where we'll of course do more science, but also start landing. The mission is running for 12 days already. Of course, the days in the Kerbal calendar go quite a little bit faster than the human days we are more used to. Ooh, that's a nice FPS drop, but the train is all loaded now and all is fine. So let's do one more goo here close to Minmus. Keep that for return. A crew report. Transmit that. And then in the meantime we can fire our engine. And I think this is as good a place as any to land, because we are in the sunlight. So we're going to just reduce speed to about 100 meters per second. I think that should be suborbital. And the camera wobble confirms that, and that looks like a decent landing spot. That leaves us with plenty of time to do EVA reports above Minmus' slopes. Oh, of course, Minmus also has biomes, so we can transmit more than one of these back home. We still have... Oh, we have solar panels. I was wondering, like, why the hell is my electric charge not depleting? But it's just being regenerated, which is wonderful. We have half a tank of fuel, and that leads me to believe that we do have enough for a landing, but possibly or probably not enough for a return. So this might herald the first moment where we need a rescue mission, which wouldn't be a problem because we have Minmus' lowlands. Wonderful, keep that. We have plenty of ships in the garage. Transmit that home. It could be a problem because our next mission on the clock is an asteroid redirector or an asteroid sciencer. It doesn't need to be redirected, this one. It doesn't appear to be on an intercept course. Maybe it can stop by Minmus, but depending on the exact trajectory of the asteroid, that could be very difficult. So either way, Seanmon, and I hope you like drinking fuel, because you will have a bit of spare fuel, but you won't actually have lots of supplies, and you will be stuck here for a few days. I don't know what I'm saying. He'll have to wait for his rescue craft. And while I'm drinking not quite cold but not hot enough coffee, let me initiate the landing sequence by reducing speed to about 50 meters per second. I wonder what you think. And this is the beauty of the shared persistence file. If this landing goes well, and the craft is here, and I have decided it does not have enough fuel to go home. You can grab the persistent file and try for yourself, see if it actually works out. And then you can congratulate me on a good estimation of rocket science, or laugh at me for how woefully careful I am with my Kerbals. Either works for me. Let's do another EVA report. No, I don't think we're gonna go over a new biome. Let's kill off more speed. Don't want a repeat of the instant replay landing of previous episode, awesome though it was. That was very bad for Sigas. Poor Sigas' heart. He is still in post-traumatic. He's still in the post-traumatic stress ward to fix that. Or well, to fix that. They don't know anything to do for him, but to recuperate from that. Yeah. Let's time warp a bit. I'm impatient like that. Floating down to Minmus takes forever. I remember when Minmus was first added, I was still in the experimental test team back then. And I went to it and I was like, what? The gravity is so low. I think it was like 10 times lower than it is now, or 5 times lower. And I actually in this stage just turned it around and thrust it towards the surface because it was taking too long. Yeah, the good old days of getting new celestial bodies in updates and being all excited about that. Yeah, that was more than a year ago. Maybe it was even more than 2 years ago. Time goes fast. Damn. So let's have a look. While I'm landing here, please let me know. Well, it doesn't really matter, but let me know if you like these random thoughts, like what the story I told about the 2 or 4 days. Tell me if you like that, because I could ramble about random stuff forever, or I could just keep it rocket focused and, well, talk about the rockets and how they crash, burn, and sometimes fly. For now, we're approaching the surface of Minmus. It doesn't look like it's a very... it looks like we're coming in on a fairly steep incline, but hopefully that doesn't matter. No, hopefully that doesn't matter. Let's try a touchdown speed of about 1 meter per second. That should... I can say that, but I do have to do the engine... I do have to burn the engine to actually get that speed. Yes! Here we go. And the trick I use to help with the SES, just look at the nav ball and steer towards the top. That way you can use the SES to kind of help not fall over. Let's see if... oh, this is a very precarious landing spot. Oh god. I'm going to enable the SAS. And, well, we are landed. I'm fairly sure we don't have the fuel to get back. How much do we have? We have 25 units. We could go for it, but it's safer to have Shanmon wait for rescue. Either way, we are going to do science. Mystery goo from the surface. Wonderful. Keep that for collection. We are still hopeful. Let's do a materials bay as well, hidden behind everything. 125 points from that. And now comes the tricky part, to get Shanmon out of his capsule. And usually it's not that tricky, but because we're on an incline, I'm afraid of knocking over the ship. So let's just jet back away from it ever so gently. And of course we are going to use this momentous occasion to plant a flag on... it will be the first flag. No, there's a flag on the moon as well. So let's plant a flag. And here we go. Minmus. I don't know anything. I don't know anything to write here. Nothing profound. Right. EVA report from Minmus' slopes. We can take that. We can transmit that home in a bit. And I want a surface sample. Take that, and we're going to take that and transmit it as well. So we're going to have a look at the sample. Talk to the people back at the KSC, see what their opinions are, and then we're going to take a more specific sample just for those scientists. Of course, none of this is actually modeled in the game, but we're going to pretend that that is what happens. So, what do we have here? Stored data. EVA report, we can transmit that, and we can transmit this, and I think we didn't do a crew report yet. Yeah, we didn't transmit that as well. Of course, Minimus is comprised of many, many biomes, so it's quite easy to get thousands and thousands of science points here. I'm not going to muck around with that stuff, like flying, jetpacking all over the place, lifting this up and landing it elsewhere. We don't even have to feel for it, but if you are strapped for science, Minimus is a very good bet to go, because it's really easy to, well, jetpack around or jet around with your rocket. And basically you can almost max out the science tree in one go, really. So you do need a slightly more capable craft for that, because you need to do multiple landings or be very patient and walk everywhere, but Minimus is a treasure trove of science, is what I'm trying to say. Right, so this is Shanmon. He will wait here for a rescue, and with that a quick save and a return to the space center, where we will time warp a little bit to, well, allow us to do a next launch and then have a look at the asteroid. Now we have a interesting situation, because I'm going to record this next episode pretty much before this one will be available on YouTube. So if you look at the persistent.sfs that I will post on Dropbox, it might be more advanced than you're expecting based on watching this. So we're just going to hand wave that by saying that you guys, the contractors, didn't have time with the new technology yet to build a ship to intercept the asteroid. Hence, we are going to use the older ones in the garage. Check back for that the next episode. For now, I'm going to comply with your wishes, get landing gear so you guys can make planes, which will probably be hilarious. We now have 160 points, and I'm just going to go through the tree. We have a thermometer here, a mobile processing lab that will be nice to put in all sorts of different places. Hey, was the mass of this nerfed? I thought that was 10 mass units. Anyway, 90 science, we now have that. And yeah, I think that's it, because we don't have any more science. These are all more expensive than the 70 we have left. Yeah, that's it. Check back the next episode for our asteroid mission and a possible rescue of Shanmon. Depends on what the craft in the garage can do, of course. Keep submitting those crafts. I'm having a huge amount of fun flying them, and I hope you liked watching them as well. This was Lorenzo. Thanks for watching. See you next time.